The right honourable gentleman isn't thinking about the national interest. He is merely playing politics. Because yesterday, when asked whether there was a general election, he would actually campaign to leave the European Union. He refused to answer that question 5 times. We know where we stand. We're leaving the European Union, and this government will deliver it.
No, she didn't. I love Parliament, the way they do things right to their faces. They just shout, scream, back and forth, as my dear colleague just said. All of this fuss is over Brexit. It's been, what more than 2 years since Brits voted to get away from the European Union and start on their own, and here we be. Right now, a crucial vote that will probably keep this dragging on a while. To former British Parliament member John Browne. John, always good to see you. I understand why you eventually settled in West Palm Beach. Enough of those theatrics, I guess. But what do you make of what's happening now and where this is all going?
Well, the globalist elite is fighting back. And under Prime Minister May, who has misled, bribed and lied repeatedly, first of all to dupe, and secondly to betray the British people over Brexit. And creating manufactured chaos is part of the plan, which is now taking place. The people voted by a vote of 52 to 48, in other words, a margin of 4%, the largest democratic exercise in British history, to leave the European Union. And May has pretended to observe that referendum and will of the people, but has done everything to undermine it and to mislead everybody into thinking she's still going for Brexit, when in fact she's offered a plan which we now call Browne, Brexit in name only, which means that after 30 months of wasted time when she should have been negotiating, she's ended in a position worse than when we started.
Well, let me ask you that. Now, why can't she just break? Now, I know her past was, originally she was against the whole breaking away from the European Union. Then obviously changed her mind, then led the effort to go ahead and honor the will of the people. I'm beginning to think that there's a separate strategy here to punt on this, or whatever the British soccer equivalent is, and let it go to another referendum before the British people. That's what the globalists, whatever you want to call them, want. Is that true?
Absolutely. You hit it right on the nail, right on the head. What she's doing is delaying. She'll probably, although if you notice in the last few debates, she's refused to definitely cast these ideas out. She's moving towards extending. She'll lose the vote tomorrow. She'll win the confidence vote if Labour brings one. And then she's moving towards extending Article 50, possibly into June or July. Delay, and allow more chaos to develop, more uncertainty in markets. And then she's going to say, oh, well, in order to get out of this chaos, we'll have to have a second referendum. I think the people are confused. We're all confused. The world is confused. So let's have a real deciding vote, just along the line that the European Union, which we call the Euro-Soviet, always does. When people vote against their will, they keep giving them endless revotes, and they pour millions, if not billions, of money into advertising and scaring people until they vote the right way.
But what is the right way? I mean, you could make an argument that the most compelling evidence to favor breaking away from the European Union is the fact that the European Union itself is hurting. I mean, we talk about Italy and its budget problems. We talk about Germany going into a slowdown. We talk about Portugal not doing much better. Who would want to be part of a club that has problems like that?
That is absolutely true, but there are much more serious reasons. The first is our system of legal legislation. We have juries in England. We have an onus of proof that you're innocent until the accuser proves you guilty. That is reverse in the European Union. You're guilty as charged until you prove you're innocent. Totally foreign to the British. We have juries, we have non-political judges, we had habeas corpus, that you can't just rot in a jail. You have to come before a magistrate every so often to prove you're still alive. You can rot in a European jail to death. And we think that's terrible. That's the most important. The second is that France and Germany run the European Union, and they do all the European trade deals for the benefit of the French and German economies. Britain is not considered, really. So free to trade under World Trade Organization rules, we would be free to trade with every nation and bloc in the world that suits Britain. In other words, with the United States, Canada, Japan, China, and all these countries, some of which the European Union doesn't even have a trade deal even now. So we'd be far better off economically. Of course, in the meantime, there'd be uncertainty, and markets don't like uncertainty. Nobody does.
Sure.
And so there'd be a certain amount of distortion because May has wasted the 30 months that she should have been negotiating all this deliberately to delay everything, throw everything into the long grass so nobody knows what's happening. Right, let's bring a new football on. In other words, a second referendum.
All right, 30 months. It has dragged on. John Browne, thank you. Very, very good seeing you again.
Thank you, Neil.